You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
After a confirmed case of mumps earlier this month, it looks like an outbreak of the virus is more serious than we thought here at NIU. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stoney Royce.
And I'm Berogan. Health officials say there are now 10 students who have tested positive for the mumps virus here on campus. The university is refusing to give out any details, but NTC has learned the outbreak affects students and staff in the NIU football program. At least one starting player was kept off the field for the Husky game at Miami University over the weekend. Others have been quarantined. We've also learned that blood was drawn last week by health services for more than 100 players and staff.
Investigators are still trying to find out who's behind a bomb scare that forced an evacuation here at NIU earlier this month.
NIU is just one of 4 schools that received a bomb threat, and police want to know if there was any connection between them.
NIU students crossed campus to the Convocation Center Thursday night after a bomb threat had campus evacuated. Nearly 2,000 students filled the Convocation Center for almost 5 hours. Some even brought their pets, unsure of what that night had in store. The campus was locked down and security patrolled the outside of every building, ensuring students stayed at least 500 feet clear. And over 30 text messages and emails went out to students a half hour after the initial threat. So what took so long?
At that point, we had the threat, and they were trying to take the proper steps. There were some technical glitches getting the first one out, so it took a little longer than we would have liked.
But NIU wasn't the only university to receive bogus bomb threats that week. NIU was one amongst 4 universities in the Chicagoland area that received the bogus bomb threats, as well as 2 in Cincinnati and 1 in Oregon. So who's responsible for such threats?
This one, we believe, is been coordinated due to the fact that there's been other campuses that received similar threats. So we're reaching out with federal agencies to be able to determine how connected these are, because we can't speculate on what the reason this individual is doing it.
This week, normality resumes on campus as the investigation continues. For NTC News in DeKalb, I'm Berogan.
Thanks, Aaron. Fire investigators are trying to get to the cause of a fire that forced a family of 7 out of their homes Saturday morning. Sycamore firefighters responded to a call at this house on Exchange Street. The fire caused 6 local fire stations to help at the scene. Although the fire was ruled an accident, they're still trying to figure out what started it.
Here on NIU campus, the extension of Lucinda Avenue is near completion. It now looks like the roadway will open early next month, depending on weather conditions. The extension is part of President Doug Baker's plan for a 10-minute campus. The Husky line will also make the changes to its route as part of the plan. As of right now, there is no bus route that will go through Lucinda, but changes are expected to be made.
Nearly 450 pounds of prescription medication has been collected so far this year here in DeKalb. The police department's prescription drug take-back program collected more than 225 pounds of drugs during the prescription drug take-back day last month alone. The program looks to reduce prescription drug abuse, drug overdoses, and contamination of the environment.
And what could be better than spending a beautiful fall weekend drinking apple cider with your family?
NTC reporter Chris Larson takes us to the Sycamore History Museum, where families learned what it takes to make this fall drink.
What you're seeing are crushed apples being loaded into an antique piece of equipment that will soon be turned into everyone's favorite fall drink, apple cider. And there were plenty of apples to go around for everyone who came to the Sycamore History Museum's apple cider making event this weekend. Since the event began around 8 years ago, the apples have been donated by the John Mack Orchard in Malta. The equipment was provided by Bill Mitchell, who had the antiques lying around not being used. Instead of selling it, Mitchell decided the equipment should be put to good use.
Handcrafted food is what we're doing here. We're doing it just as they did, in 1800 perhaps. Even in George Washington's time, they were making cider.
The apples are cleaned, crushed, and pressed.
And after all that, here's the result. Fresh, homemade apple cider.
The Sycamore History Museum has had a great deal of success with events such as these, and are proud of the historical significance of events like Cider Saturday.
It's an opportunity for kids to see how apple cider is actually made, and that there's a lot more work that goes into it than just buying it as a half-gallon or gallon in your store. So it's always a fun event for the kids.
The museum and its volunteers hope the value of DIY processes like this one are carried on.
And hopefully they'll pass it along and keep these things alive in later years, 10 years, 100 years from now or whatever.
After everyone has had their fill of cider, all that's left is cleanup. Finally, the excess apples are taken away to their new home in the museum's gardens. In Sycamore, Chris Larson, NTC News.
The Sycamore History Museum will be holding many more events like this one in the next couple of months for adults and children alike. Kids and adults are playing in piles of bright-colored leaves while officials are looking to collect them. Sycamore's annual leaf pickup program begins today. Crews will be working in 2 pickup sections over the course of the next 4 weeks. You are encouraged to avoid parking on the streets during the pickup days.
And what a beautiful fall day it is outside for some outdoor activities.
Emery Dhanes is out at our weather station now.
It is a beautiful day out, but it is very windy. As you can see, my hair is blowing around like crazy. Those winds are gusting up to about 30 miles per hour, but luckily those winds are coming from the south, bringing with it those warm temperatures. Now for Tuesday, we'll see similar conditions, very windy, but we do have a chance of rain across the northern Illinois area. Other than that, we'll see partly cloudy conditions with highs in the lower 70s. To hear about a cool down later this week, stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 whoa. Can you feel the sun?
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all enjoying the very warm temperatures we've been seeing today. High of about 72 degrees, much warmer than our normal for this time of year. And tonight we will be expecting a low of about 51 degrees, which is also a little bit warmer than we're used to, but it feels very nice out there. Now, if you're outside today, you probably felt those gusty winds up to 30 miles per hour. It's very windy out there now. Hopefully you aren't too sick of those winds because they're going to be sticking around for a little bit longer. Take a look at the larger scale. We have this low pressure system to the northwest of us, and the air goes counterclockwise around this low and bringing up from the south, which is why we have those winds from the south bringing all that warm air into our area, which is why we've gotten into the 70s today. And as we move in from Monday to Tuesday, that low moves off to the east a little bit. We do have this area that has a possibility of some showers for Tuesday and similar instances on Wednesday where that low will continue to push off, and again we might see some showers in association with that on Wednesday. Now let's take it back to tonight, where we'll see partly cloudy conditions with an overnight low of about 51 degrees, although it will feel a little bit cooler than that because it's still very breezy tonight. We'll see winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour. And then into Tuesday, partly sunny conditions with a high of about 73 degrees, still very windy out there, and we do have a chance of some showers with that front going through our area. Then for Tuesday night, mostly cloudy conditions with a high of about, an overnight low of about 53 degrees. Those winds are finally starting to die down a little bit to about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Then let's take a look at our 5-day weather forecast. Again, for Tuesday and Wednesday, we have a chance of some rain showers, high of about 73. Then when we go into later this week, dropping about 10 degrees in temperature, lows in this highs in the lower 60s for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then again on Saturday, we do have a chance of some showers going into the weekend. That's all for weather. Let's send it back to the desk.
A father is in jail after one of his sons accidentally shot and killed his younger brother.
A Chicago woman on a CTA platform is slashed over a cell phone. These are today's state lines.
A Chicago man is facing charges after his 6-year-old son accidentally shot and killed his 3-year-old brother with their father's gun. 25-year-old Michael Santiago says that he got the gun illegally from a gang member because he thought he needed the gun to protect his family. Police say the brothers were playing cops and robbers.
A Chicago man is facing charges after he slashed a woman on a downtown CTA Blue Line platform because he thought she took his cell phone. 48-year-old Casser Williams pulled out a knife and slashed the 24-year-old woman from ear to the side of her mouth.
Some state facilities are having their utilities shut off because of the budget deadlock. The Capitol building itself is in imminent danger of having their power cut off, but Secretary of State Jesse White has warned the governor that the Capitol could have their power shut off if the deadlock continues.
Faculty at Eastern Illinois University say that the provost and vice president of academic affairs should be fired. Over 100 faculty members have signed a no-confidence petition. The co-author of the petition is a physics professor who says there are concerns about transparency. And those are today's state lines.
A killer typhoon rips through the Philippines.
And in Egypt, voters in a big election seem to be staying home. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
At least 3 people are dead in the Philippines because of Typhoon Kopu, and it isn't expected to leave the area for a few more days. 20,000 people have already been forced to leave their homes, and flooding and landslides are complicating rescue efforts.
Egypt is preparing for their second round of voting in the parliamentary elections. The president says the vote is a major step towards restoring true democracy, but the first round of voting was yesterday, and hardly any voters showed up to the polling stations. The second round of voting is next month.
College students at the University of Mississippi in Oxford are trying to remove the state flag from campus because it is a symbol of the Confederacy. Student leaders will decide tomorrow whether they will remove it or not. It's the only state flag that still has the symbol of the Confederacy in the upper left corner. At least 3 other Mississippi universities have already stopped flying the flag.
Oprah Winfrey is buying a stake in the Weight Watchers and taking a seat on its board of directors. The company has been struggling in recent months. Their profits fell almost 50% in 6 months. Winfrey says she wants the focus of Weight Watchers to change from weight loss to one of overall health and happiness. And that's today's World Watch.
Welcome to NTC Sports. I'm Ryan Mack. A hard loss for the Chicago Bears yesterday. The Bears made a comeback to take the game into overtime, but could not walk away with the W. Let's take a look. Moving straight to the fourth quarter, Cutler drops back and fires an 11-yard touchdown pass to Alshon Jeffrey. Now Matthew Stafford finds Calvin Johnson in the end zone. He makes a 6-yard touchdown pass. Here come Bears down by 3. Cutler puts up one to Alshon Jeffrey. Great throw, puts Robbie Gould in a perfect position for a field goal. Gould sends the game into overtime, puts it through the post, but after about 10 minutes of overtime, here's Stafford with a bomb down the field. Calvin Johnson, he's there for the catch. That's what makes Calvin Johnson one of the top receivers in the league. Now Matt Prater with an easy 27-yard field goal, and the Lions beat the Bears 37-34. Moving on to Major League Baseball, the Cubs went down another game in their series with the New York Mets. Last night was Jake Arrieta's first loss on the road since May. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Bottom of the first, runner on second. Murphy launches one to right field. This ball stays fair, and that's a 2-run home run for Murphy. Now top of the second, Cubs at the plate. Chris Coghlan blasts it to right field, but Curtis Granderson takes the leap of faith, robs Coghlan of that home run. Now top of the sixth, 4-0 Mets. Cubs trying to make a comeback. Chris Bryan out to left field. The Cubs put a run on the scoreboard with that play, but they cannot bring it back. Coghlan again, Chopper to first. The Mets get the easy out and the win and move on to 2-0 in the series. Heading back to the NFL for a game-winning touchdown. This is today's play of the day. Late in the fourth quarter, Panthers down by 3. Cam Newton drops back. He looks around, sends a bullet train up the middle to Greg Olsen. Let's take another look at this one. Cam Newton finds Olsen between a pack of hungry defenders. Panthers walk away with the win, and Olsen takes today's play of the day. That's all for sports. Emily Beebe will be back with more on Wednesday.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Well, fall is in full swing. Leaves are changing colors and families are spending days at the pumpkin patch.
It's a great time to be outside and get some fresh air. And in Quincy, Illinois, the air is becoming crisp with the smell of kettle corn. Over the last 30 years, Frank Doman has become known as the kettle corn guy in the Quincy area. Doman named his recipe after his wife, Jackie's kettle corn recipe, and he says experience is the most valuable ingredient. Doman says turning 60 won't stop him from stirring the pot for another 30 years. I might have to take a trip over to Quincy.
And it's a great fall day for a drive. Let's send it out to Emery for one last look at weather.
Don't forget, Tuesday will be very windy again, and later this week, those temperatures will be dropping, so enjoy these 70 degrees while you can.
NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University.
We want to thank you all for being with us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back the same time Wednesday. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye, everyone.